Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is all about Unit 6 Technology Tools for Information. Objectives. At the end of this lesson, the student should be able to use technology to identify the features and uses of ICT tools for collaboration and sharing resources, develop effective teaching and learning in the classroom, evaluate the relevance of promoting collaborative and transformative learning in cyberspace, and explain the four process models for information use. Okay, so before we start our formal discussion, we'll prepare a quiz for you to have a little bit understanding about our lesson. We'll give you 5 minutes to answer this question.
Let's proceed to introduction. Students use technology in natural ways that allow them to do what they want, communicate with anyone that want, in the time and space that suit them best. Easily accessible and user-friendly, collaboration tools allow students to explore, share, engage, and connect with people and content in meaningful ways that help them learn. By relying on the familiar ways students use these tools, faculty can enable new forms of communication and engagement in the classroom, permitting extensions and the variations of the informal interactions already occurring in classrooms and hallways, and creating new frontiers for collaboration across geographic boundaries. Under the Unit 6 of Technology Tools for Information, we have here features and users of ICT tools for collaboration and sharing resources, effective teaching and learning in the classroom, promoting collaboration and transformative learning in cyberspace, becoming information users, like for search, sort, create, and communicate. And the last, we have the four processes models for information use.
Okay, so let's have first the collaboration tools. When we say collaboration, it is the action of working with someone to produce or create something. Also, collaborative learning is essentially people working together to solve a problem, create a product, or derive meaning from a body of material. A central question or problem serves to organize and drive activities and encourage application, analysis, and synthesis of course the material. While the landscape of technology that can be used to support central activities of collaborative learning is vast and varied, it is often lumped together under a single label, the collaboration tools. Features and uses of ICT tools for collaboration and sharing resources, we have first the communication, project management, resource management, co-creation and ideation, consensus building, presentation, and archiving. Let's me, Let me explain first the communication. Many features of collaboration tools are geared toward the facilitation and management of effective communication among team members. The examples are virtual meetings, email, instant messaging, screen sharing, blogs, voice, video, web conferencing, or the discussion boards. Resource management. It is a tools help address common issues like having access to a shared storage space for project files and keeping up with multiple versions of the same document. We can help you find tools that have the following features. First, file storage, search, database management, version tracking, access management, social bookmarking, commenting, and tagging. Co-creation and ideation. Co-creation and ideation tools facilitate the most direct interaction between team members on the goals or desired outcomes of the project. Participants can often work in groups directly editing or building the project artifact using tools with the following features and support functionality. First, concept mapping. Second, wiki, virtual whiteboards, and the real-time collaborative editing. Next is the consensus building. While co-creation ideation tools help generate possible alternative solutions to a given problem, consensus building tools help participants narrow and refine the proposed solutions. We can help to identify tools that support the following functions. First, the polling. Second, question management. Third is the process archiving. And lastly, we have the presentation and archiving. These tools allow the project team to present outcomes to the instructor, to a project client, or to the general public. We can help you to find tools designed to handle the following. First, webinars, slideshows, hosted media sharing. Okay, so let's proceed to effective teaching and learning in the classroom. Okay, so first is the model as you teach. When presenting a new subject to your class, it helps to include a demonstration. While some students will be able to grasp a new concept by hearing the information alone, others, particularly visual learners, will need to see it. Okay, so since every students are different to each other, so there are times that students can understand the lesson without the demonstration or the visual presentations of the teachers. So as a teacher, you need to have a presentation to prepare a presentation for you to have or give the ideas or knowledge to your students. Okay, so next is the make mistakes. Teachers are the ultimate resource for students when it comes to learning. When you are presenting your lesson plans, you usually show the right way to do things. This is a great way to introduce a concept, but you also want to solicit a more in-depth understanding. So a great way to do this is to make intentional mistakes and ask the class to fix them. You have an best example of this is if you are an English teacher, you can write an excerpt on the board and riddle it with grammar mistakes. Instruct your students to identify these mistakes and rewrite the passage correctly. Okay, so you can let them explore and um, let them correct what is wrong. Okay, so next is work as a team. Splitting the class up into different teams to complete an assignment is a teaching strategy that works wonders, especially at age groups where students insist on always working with their tight-knit circle of friends. Okay, so minsan po is mas prefer ng students and sometimes group works is better than individual works. But of course, it depends on the activities that given by the teacher or the instructor. Okay, so group assignments also encourage teamwork and help your class to succeed. The next one is encourage learning from experience. The best lessons often happen outside of the classroom. Getting out into the real world offers a new perspective for children and can help them gain a more profound understanding of what goes on in the classroom. So the best example of this is the field trips. Okay, so let us our student explore outside the classroom. Okay, so the last one is let the students teach. Letting students lead a class in teaching requires preparation and a deep understanding of coursework. You can assign this task individually or break up students into groups. Okay, so the goal of this strategy is to get your students to display the knowledge they have and to share it with their classmates.
So let's proceed to the next topic, promoting collaborative and transformative learning in cyberspace. We have here the introduction. Web-based teaching is one alternative modern technology has developed to augment traditional learning and teaching at all educational levels. Although dependent on many specific requirements, this web-based technology has become a major component that will dramatically affect the future of education. With a proper system in place, including adequate technology and support, sufficient funds, and the cooperation of educational administrators, parents, students, and the government, web-based teaching can amplify current educational system in remarkable ways. So let's go up with the next slide. The new issues when teaching and learning leave the classroom. When teaching and learning leave the classroom, it is up to the instructor to create a container within which the course proceeds by posting goals, objectives, and expected outcomes for the course. While discussing effective strategies for online learning, Curler relates some of the following new issues which he claims are to be managed when teaching and learning leave the classroom. First, we have here to understand the technology strengths and weaknesses, to provide technical training and orientation, to plan for technical failures and ensure access to technical support, to foster learning to learn, self-directed learning, and critical reflection skills, to develop information management skills to assess learning in selection and critical assessment, to mix moods or combine email discussion with audio or video methods to enhance the social aspect, and structure learner-centered activities for both independent and group work that foster interaction. The next topic we have becoming information user. SSCC stands for search, sort, create, and communicate. The SSCC is an acronym used for designed learning opportunities to help students to become user of information. To become user of information, there are four categories or form to become a user information. First, we have searching. Students access the specific information and develop a broad overview of the topic. Second, we have the sorting. Students classify the information in order to make connections and determine relevant versus irrelevant information for their purpose. The third, we have create. Students use the information to create a clear product that organize and demonstrate their learning. And the last is to communicate. Students share with the community the knowledge that they learned through the products they have made. In this step, students help others to understand the connection and conclusion that they have made throughout the process of using the information. Students can reflection what they have learned through the process of SSCC, which is stand for searching, sorting, create, and communicate during this step.
Okay, so let us proceed to the four processes for information use. Okay, so the process models are used for four main purposes. First is the estimation, second prediction, third calibration, and the fourth is optimization. The rest of this page lists brief explanations of the different uses of process models. More detailed explanations of the uses for processes models are given in the subsections of the section listed at the bottom of this page. Estimation. The goal of estimation is to determine the value of the regression function, for example, the average value of the response variable. For a particular combination of the values of the predictor variables, Regression function values can be estimated for any combination of predictor variable values, including values for which no data have been measured or observed. Function values estimated for points within the observed space of predictor variable values are sometimes called interpolations. Estimations is also regression function values for points outside the observed space of predictor variable values, called extrapolations, are sometimes necessary but require caution. Next, prediction. The goal of prediction is to determine either the value of a new observation of the response variable or the values of a specified proportion of all future observation of the response variable. For a particular combination of the values of the predictor variables, predictions can be made for any combination of predictor variable values, including values for which no data have been measured or observed. As in the case of estimation, predictions made outside the observed space of predictor variable values are sometimes necessary but required also caution.
The other process for information use is we have calibration. Calibration is to quantitatively relate measurements made using one measurement system to those of another measured system. This is done so that measurement can be compared in common units or to tie results from a relative measurements method to absolute units. And the last, we have optimization. Optimization is performed to determine the values of process inputs that should be used to obtain the desired process output. Typically, optimization goals might be to maximize the yield of a process, to minimize the processing time required to fabricate a product, or to hit a target product specification with minimum variation in order to maintain specified tolerances. And that's all for our discussion. But before this lesson ends, let's answer the post activity. Again, we will give you 5 minutes for you to answer this given question. Okay, that's all. Thank you for your thank you for listening and cooperation. Thank you.